Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jamie. This is my very first video on this channel and also my very first ever knitting podcast, crochet podcast, just like fiber arts podcast. This is Ace. He will be making, I'm sure, plenty of appearances throughout this video and is the reason that the tripod shakes, if and when it does. But so this is going to be it's like a fiber arts podcast, so it's going to follow the format of like any other knitting podcast. So we'll start with finished objects and then go on to my whips. I'll also talk about my future plans a little bit whenever I talk about my acquisitions, and there the fiber arts content will be over, and we're just going to talk about my other hobbies, which are allegedly running and also reading. So we'll just go through all of that. So we'll start with my finished objects for the month. I have three finished objects for January. Two of them were for an order, so I don't have them anymore. I shipped them out in mid-January. I do have the patterns, so I can show you what they were, because I'm very analog, so I print out all my patterns. So all these boxes here are sweater quantities of yarn with the pattern printed out in the box, so I'm like good to go whenever I get there. But so I made two TCD DIY patterns. The first one was this crochet, what's it called? Crochet balloon sleeve turtleneck sweater. So I made this, and the customer sent me the yarn, so I made it in the Juicy Couture velour, like the skinny one, not like the big plush one that people make scrunchies out of, the like normal worsted weight yarn. And then also another TCD DIY pattern. This is the Crochet Cable Stitch Sweetheart sweater. And I'm going to be honest, I don't love TCD DIY's patterns. Her pattern writing skills are not like what I want in a pattern. And they're also all made to measure, which like this is a book for like a made to measure sweater, because she does it in her size and then she does an explanation on how to size it to you, which is fine if you are the person it's made for. But if you are making it for somebody else, some of these measurements are like impossible. Like she wants you to measure from here to here, and I don't know what that is on somebody else. I only know what that is on me. So it's really hard to make for somebody else. But the customer didn't complain about it. I shipped them off, haven't heard any feedback, which is not the greatest, I don't think, because I would assume that if they loved it, they would tell me, or give me like a review on Etsy, but I haven't heard anything, so I'm assuming that they were fine, that they were satisfied enough to not complain or leave like a low star review. But those were my first two finished objects. And then my third finished object, excuse me, sir, I made a scarf. So it has a hole in it so you can feed one end through, and then you just don't have to worry about it coming unwound. So why is it so hard to do things when you're on camera? So I live in Pittsburgh. It's cold. It's really cold. And I'm not saying that as in like, oh, it's 30. It's cold. It's normally 30 in January in Pittsburgh. Driving home from my part-time job, it was -19. It's cold. So I made a scarf because I can't walk from my parking garage to my building for work without freezing to death. So I made myself a little scarf. This took me like an absurd amount of time, considering that like it's double-stranded. This is double-stranded pound. Oh, what is that? I split a stitch. And of course it's like right where I'm showing it. I made it double-stranded with Lion Brand Pound of Love, which is an Aran weight yarn technically, I believe. So this is pretty thick. I made it on 8mm needles. It's 25 stitches across and then like 5 feet long in total. It took me like 12 hours. I'm a pretty slow knitter, I think. I feel like I'm decently fast at crochet, but I'm not a fast knitter. I'm pretty new to knitting, I learned how to knit when I was little. My grandma taught me, and I didn't do it for a long time because who wants to do like the craft that your grandma taught you when you're like 7? But I picked it up a couple years ago again. I made like some scarves, some beanies. I made a couple pairs of socks, and well, this is going to bring us to my first whip. So my first whip is a sweater. It is my first garment, other than like socks and beanies and scarves, which I don't count as garments. I think that I count them as accessories. But so my first garment, my first whip, is also my first garment for knitting. And it is the Cinema Sweater by Kuda Vakika. It's covered in like cat stuff. This one, who's about to pop into camera, is 11. There she is. I have 3 cats, so they'll all make an appearance today, I'm sure. But the Cinema Sweater by Kuda Vakika. So I am 72 hours in, and I think I need to do, I think I need to do 2 more stripes. So I think I need to do another dark purple and another of this peacock color. And then I think it'll be long enough and I can start the ribbing. I just tried it on. So I have like my stitch extender because this is currently on a 48-inch cable, and I have a 50-inch chest. So I tried it. I tried to try it on without doing the cable extender, and just lost 3 stitches, and they were so close to dropping. I was like terrified because I have never dropped a stitch that I've had laddering. I've dropped like stitches before. Obviously they've fallen off my needles. But I was very worried that I was going to lose my stitches, so I immediately stopped, like froze, put them back on, all like half wearing this sweater. And yeah, I put it back together and just kept knitting. I figured it wasn't long enough whenever I wanted to try it on, but I wanted to try it on to see how it looked. And I was right, it was not long enough. It's still not long enough, but we're getting close. I should finish the bottom ribbing this week, depending on my work schedule. That one's Blair. I should finish the body this week, depending on my work schedule, and then I will start the sleeves. I'm hoping that this takes me under 100 hours to finish in total, but I don't know. I'm making a size extra large. My bust is 50 inches, and I think the recommended size based on that is a 2X, but that is a lot more oversized than I'm comfortable with. I prefer generally like not a ton of positive ease in my clothing. Just a personal choice. So I just sized down 1. I feel like I could have sized down 2, honestly. I made the executive decision to modify the pattern slightly. So starting below my bust, so like right around here, I started doing a decrease round, just decreasing 2 stitches every like 3 inches or so. So after every blue stripe. So after each of the blue, the dark blue and the light blue stripes, I did a decrease round. And then I'm also probably going to modify the sleeves. The opening of the sleeves is just larger than I would like. So I will probably, the decrease round for the sleeve before the cuff is, you knit a certain number of stitches and then you do your decrease. So whenever I do the knit a couple stitches, I will probably just knit 1 less. And then that will make that a little bit tighter, which is more of what I want. And I think that it won't ruin like the effect of the sweater, of the cuff of the sleeve. I think it'll still be proportional. It'll just be the cuff is a little bit tighter. And then this sweater I am making in the Hobie Amigo. So I'm doing it in black is obviously the main color. This one is peacock. I believe this is lavender or lilac. I think it's lavender. This is sky blue and this is violet. So this is an acrylic sweater, which I don't care. I don't care that it's acrylic yarn. I know it's plastic. I work in plastics. I don't care that it's acrylic. It's cheap. It's affordable. I like this yarn. It stands up pretty well. It's not itchy, so I have no problem with it. So that is my first whip, is the Cinema Sweater by Kuda Vakika. My second My second whip is disgustingly dirty. I think the cats have been playing in this bag, because 11 likes to sleep in my project bags, even though this is a gift bag, because this is a Christmas gift. Astute viewers may notice that it is February. And good news, I've lost the rest of the sweater. So I'm making a cardigan for my grandmother, and this is not the first time that I've lost it. So let me show you what I have left behind. So it is I think it's called a lemon peel stitch. So it's just a single crochet and a double crochet into subsequent stitches. This is one of the front panels. And I already finished the back and the other front panel. So I really hope that I find this cardigan. But I had started it in October. I went on a work trip to Seattle, and I came back. I went to go work on the cardigan again, and could not find it anywhere. Looked all over the house, checked in my bags, wasn't anywhere. Started the back again, and then was like, I went to Seattle. I didn't lose it in Seattle. I brought it home with me because I worked on it in the airport. And I opened my luggage, and there it was. So I frogged the back that I started working on, and I started on the front again. I started on the second half of the front, after I finished the front panel, the first front panel. And I also realized that I made the front panels a little bit longer than the back panel, which I think is fine, because my grandma has a chest, obviously, so like her front has more volume than her back. So I think that it's fine that the front is like an inch longer than the back. I will just account for that whenever I do the arm seaming. I'll just make sure that like the back isn't getting, like the side seam isn't getting bunched up, that it's just all going into the arm hole, which is where the extra volume for your chest would be anyway. It is a little bit of a wider opening in the arm. And then this I'm making in Lion Brand Pound of Love in the color Claret or Claret. It's French. I don't know how it's pronounced. Rouge Bordeaux is the French version of it, of the name. Again, acrylic. I don't care. I like acrylic. So, this is a Yarnspirations pattern, I believe. And I just sized up the hook. So it calls for a 5, and I'm using, it's not going to focus, is it? No, I'm using a 5 point. Oh, there it is. I'm using a 5.5. So that is my second whip. So we're going in order of like how far along I am. So I'm most of the way done with the body on the cinema sweater. I'm part of the way done with the body on the, I don't know if that has a name. It's a V-neck cardigan from Yarnspirations, I believe. Up next, we have a project that we are exactly halfway through, because it's socks for my sister. This was also intended to be a Christmas present for last year. It's not, obviously. It'll be a Christmas present for next year, or whenever I finish them. So I made one. This is in Hobie. I want to say it's the Daily Stitch sock wool in the color turquoise. It's somewhere in, oh, it's right here. It is, ew, this label's gross. It is the Hobie Daily Stitch sock wool, in the color 3, which I believe is turquoise. So I have one done. I need to make the other one. It's blocked and everything. It's been on the blocker since November, and has never finished it. Or never finished the second one. So we'll get there eventually. But that is our third whip. Our fourth whip is another project for me. I am working on a top. This is the Snapdragon dress, but I'm making it into a top. So this is the back yoke lace area. So I made a dress following this pattern. This is the Snapdragon dress by Daisy and Dime. I made a dress for my cousin's wedding last year, I believe, in the K&C organic cotton. This one, the K&C organic cotton, in the color jade green. It is too long because it's too heavy, because this is a DK weight yarn. I want to make this dress again for my friend's wedding in very dark navy. Somewhere in my, it's on the bottom of my pile. So I have 3 totes high, so it's in this bottom tote here. So I'm not going to pull the yarn out, but it's like a very, very dark navy, not super fine, fingering weight yarn. But this is in just a fine weight, so sport weight. This is the Friends 8.6 cotton. That's the I think it's 8.4 cotton is the lighter one, or 8.2 cotton. Yeah, so this is a sport weight. That's a fingering weight yarn. I'm just making this into a top. So it is a wrap dress or wrap top. So I'm just going to stop around my hips instead of like continuing to, well, slightly below my knee was the first dress, which is not what I wanted. I wanted it to be slightly above my knee. So I'm probably going to make the next one, the next dress, mid-thigh length. And then if it grows, it grows, and it's fine. And this is taking me a hot minute. Partially because I'm using a 3.5mm hook, mostly because it's -19 degrees out and my hooks are metal and I don't want to touch them. So I've been doing a lot of knitting on my cinema sweater instead. My cats have found the treats, so they might get a little bit rowdy up in here. Let me actually stop them. So I think that might have cut off at the perfect time, but if not, you just heard a very loud crash, and that was the cats knocking over the treats, which are now in one of the cubbies to be hidden from them, so they can't get to them. And they've got treats. I gave them treats, don't worry. So they're all snacking away if you can hear them crunching. But yeah, so this is going to be a wrap top, about hip length. It's going to take me a minute to finish, but it's not my top priority. And it's also worked on a metal hook, and it's cold, so I'll work on it whenever I work on it. The last time I worked on this was at my friend's birthday party, I believe. I went to like the pre-party, which was just like her and her other best friends. I'm just hanging out, and I just crocheted while I sat there and we talked. But I don't have a deadline for this. I don't have a deadline for any, well, no, I have deadlines that passed, for the Christmas sweater, Christmas sock, and then I'll have a couple other, I was gonna say knits, but it's gonna be the crochet dress. My friend's wedding is October 3rd, Mean Girls Day, so I want to make sure that I have that done in time for the wedding. So I'll probably start that in, let's say like July, and then I am going to a festival in September, and I want to make a dress or two for that as well. So, but those are gonna be mesh dresses, so they're gonna be a lot faster, a lot simpler than the Daisy and Dime dress. So I will start those at some point, probably in September. So yeah, that's my next whip. My final whip, I don't know that you can even call this a whip. I am 45 minutes in to a pair of socks for my sister's fiance. I also intended this to be a Christmas gift. Can you even see it? It is in, again, Hobie yarn. I don't just use Hobie, but this is like all Hobie yarn apparently. This is in Silly Socks. He's really into trees and like the forest, so she chose this yarn for him. I think it's gonna work out really cool. He wears a size 15 shoe, so it's gonna take me forever to finish, which I think is probably why I haven't been working on this. But I am planning on traveling for work in the next couple of weeks. I live in Pittsburgh, like I said. I'll have to go on a trip to Eastern Ohio, so it's not a far drive, and I'll be the one driving, so I'm not gonna get to work on this then, obviously. But I am also planning on going to Indiana. We're probably gonna fly because the Ohio Turnpike is really bad in the winter. And so I'll have airport time and plane time, and it's nice to have something like small, like a sock to work on, instead of like a sweater where I'm like elbowing people and taking up all the arm rest space. And this is just like, I can be like right here, like knitting away. And yeah. I use the Addy needles for these, so the Addy sock, I think it's called like the sock lace needles. So I don't know why I'm showing it this way, you can't see the needles. So like one needle is short and the other one's long, and then it's a real short cable that I have bent into hell. But I like using this instead of DPNs or Magic Loop. Magic Loop I've never used and it seems terrifying. I get laddering on this, so I can't imagine like the laddering that I would get on like a 40-inch cable. But yeah, and then I've been storing this in my little made of scrap bag. So this is just what I've been storing this in. I've been making bucket hats. So up here and in here are my bucket hats, my cotton bucket hats. So I just have a lot of scrap cotton yarn. So I just collected it all, wound it up into balls, and then made it into a bag. And it's a nice, perfect size for not crochet because it has holes. So obviously crochet hooks would fall through, but great for my little knitting project. So that is all of my whips. So up next we'll do my acquisitions. So we'll go in the order that I got the yarn. So I know I said that I don't care that something's acrylic, and I like acrylic, but I bought mohair because I'm making a wool sweater as well, because I don't care. I like to use whatever. But this is the Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Merino or mohair. I bought it in petroleum green and in cream, and I bought 2 petroleum greens and 1 cream because I can't read patterns apparently, and I'm going to use this along with all of this yarn to make the porcelain yoke sweater. So the green will be my main color, and then the white will be, the cream will be the accent, the actual like porcelain pattern. I don't know when I'm going to start this project. I've never done stranded colorwork before. I haven't even finished my first sweater yet. But at some point, hopefully this year, I will make myself a mohair and wool. It's the, oh, it's buried in here somewhere. Ah, here it is. Just the merino, so the fingering weight merino. Yeah, I think my brain just stopped working. Because this is extra fine, and I just didn't translate extra fine to fingering weight, but this is the fingering weight merino, not the heavy merino. So I'll double strand this with the mohair, and I will get a DK weight for the porcelain sweater. And I'm going to do the porcelain yoke sweater, and not like the regular porcelain sweater, because I'm terrified of doing color work flat. It seems really scary to me. So I'm going to do my first stranded colorwork project in the round, so I don't have to worry about purling and like trying to catch floats while purling. Just trying to catch floats in general seems like scary to me. While I have my bag of Knitting for Olive yarn out, I also bought the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in Blue Tit. I'm going to use this to make the Tolsta tee by Rebecca, I don't remember her last name, Rebecca something. I'll talk about it in my next podcast, because I was gonna say vlog, but it's not a vlog, it's a podcast. But I'll talk about that in my next podcast, because hopefully I will start it at that point. Because despite it being -19 out, winter is ending soon. So time to start on summer stuff soon, hopefully. Okay, so the next thing that I bought, I did a Hobbii order. My sister got me a Hobbii gift card for Christmas, and she wrote like the code in like a gift card tin, and she said it was for Hobbii Lobby. So I shopped at Hobbii Lobby. I bought some stitch stoppers, a project bag, some cat-shaped stitch markers, and I also bought some wool. So this is the Black Friday stock wool print. there's Ace again. This is in, I think it's 2. I don't even know if these are still available. It's 5. So it's a darker rainbow, or like a classic rainbow, and then a pastel rainbow. I'll use these at some point to make socks. Obviously they're sock wool. And it's 100 grams each, so it's not much. It's not enough to make anything really besides socks. I guess I could maybe make a ranunculus with this, like super cropped probably. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna make socks. And then my plan also for socks at some point is to make ugly socks. So obviously socks don't use the whole skein all the time or ever. So I just have like leftover sock amounts. And my friend, I made him a pair of socks. We call them the Groks because his name's Graham. So they're the Graham socks, the Groks. A dog ate his Groks, which is like tragic and so cliche. But a dog ate the Groks. So I want to make him a pair of ugly Groks. And he's fine with them being ugly Groks. He doesn't care. And then my other friend, I made him a pair of socks as well. They're my very first pair of knit socks. And they are ugly, but he doesn't care. They do the job. They keep his feet warm. And I said that I'd make him a pair of ugly socks as well, and he's down for the ugly socks. So somebody's gonna get some rainbow in their ugly socks. But yeah, so Hobie sock yarn Black Friday print. Jeez, I don't even know if they're still available because they're Black Friday and it's February. So yeah. Okay, next I bought yarn that I really didn't need because I have a wall of yarn. This is a 16 cubby thing and it's like full of yarn, and then all of my sweater quantities. So didn't need yarn, bought more yarn. So I got the Woolies Thick and Quick. I got 2 of these to make just knit beanies. So I can't reach, but I have some double-stranded knit beanies up here that I haven't listed on my Etsy yet. I need to, but I haven't, and I want to make more beanies. But I've been doing double-stranded knit beanies, and this is going to be single-stranded because this is the Thick and Quick, so it's a super bulky, and it calls for a 9, and all of the patterns I found call for a 9. I know I could just make a gauge swatch and do the math myself. I don't want to because people have already done the math and done the pattern testing and everything, so I just want to follow the pattern. And I don't have a 9. I don't have a 9mm needle. I don't have a 9mm hook. I have just ordered one from Furls, so that'll be my acquisitions for next month. But my needle set only goes from 3.25 to 8mm. And I ordered a set of shorties because I also realized that I don't have, because I was just gonna make this with an 8mm hook. And then I realized that I don't have a 16-inch cable. My shortest cable is 24 inches. So I've been like struggling to make these double-stranded knit beanies because I'm supposed to make them on a 16-inch cable. Mine's 24, so I've been struggling. I couldn't figure out why like my stitches are so stretched, and it's because my cable is 8 inches too long. So I got a shorty set, and it comes with shorter cables as well. So I will be able to make beanies properly, and I'll just make this with an 8mm needle. I could also crochet a beanie, but they're not as good as knit beanies are. They're not as stretchy. They can be really cool. I have a couple that I've made that I've really liked, but I just want to do just like a simple rib beanie. Maybe some cabling. I haven't done cabling yet. I'm gonna have to make it for the Salty Days, which is this stack here. So I'm planning 3 Salty Days sweaters at some point in the future. Some point this year, because I promised 2 of my friends that they'd get them before Christmas. And I have a lot of projects that I need to get done this year. Yeah. And then my final acquisition is another Pound of Love. This one's in Hunter Green. And I'm going to use this to make my, my sample for a pattern that I'm writing for the Valeria cardigan, which is this bad boy right here. So it's just a dropped shoulder cardigan with balloon sleeves. I'm going to try to size grade it, but I'm just gonna make a video tutorial, write a pattern for made to measure, and then I'll deal with the size grading at some point in the future, but I need to make a sample. I've made a lot of them, actually. I have 2, 3 hanging up on my my rack. I have 2 in here that are not finished that I just need to pretty much just assemble them. I have one that I made and shipped out as an order, and I have this one that I made and I need to hang it up, but I don't remember what size it is, so I can't put it in the right section. I'm gonna make another one. I'm gonna actually record the process and take pictures so I can write my pattern. My pattern is currently in, like, I'm calling it pre-testing. So I have a friend at work who also crochets, and she is, I think she wears like a 3X. So she has agreed to test the pattern. I wear like a 1X or a 2X. So it's good to have it like tested for more plus size people, because I feel like straight size people, like, it's pretty easy to size down. It's a lot harder to size up your patterns. So we are testing it. I'm gonna make the sample in probably a medium, because I have actually I might make it in a small, because I have a medium, a large, and an extra large on my rack, so I'm gonna make the sample size in a small, and then I'll sell that as well. But yeah, so that is another upcoming project I'll make at some point in the future, and also a pattern that I am planning on releasing at some point in the future. So I will probably do a tester call over the summer, and then hopefully release the pattern in like September, so that people will have time to make it for before winter comes in the northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern hemisphere, I feel like your winters aren't as cold, and this is an Aran weight or a worsted weight sweater, so it can be pretty warm. It is knit or crocheted with a large hook size, so it's a 7mm hook. So it can be, depending on which yarn you use, like how thick your worsted weight yarn is. Obviously it'll depend on it'll vary how thick the sweater material is. So like I'm using Pound of Love, which is an Aran weight, so it's a little bit thicker. If you use an actual worsted weight or a light worsted weight, it'll be a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter. But I wear mine in my office when it's really cold and the space heater isn't doing it. So mine's real warm. It's not going to stand up to like the weather we're having right now, but it's pretty warm. So those are my acquisitions for the month. So if you're just here for the yarn content, that's it. That's all we got. It's all she wrote. So if you're just here for that, thanks for watching, and I will see you hopefully next time. If you want to hang out for my hobbies chat, we're going to go into that now. So I got 2 other hobbies besides fiber arts. One of them is running, allegedly, and the other one is reading, allegedly. So we'll do the running first, because in January I didn't run. I work 2 jobs, so I have a full-time job in my degree, and then I have a part-time job at Amazon. And my part-time job at Amazon has been like kicking my ass. It's very physical. It's in a warehouse, so it's not like I'm not like at a computer. I'm not doing customer service. I am like running packages back and forth, and carts and pallets of packages back and forth all morning long. We just finished peak like last week, so they were mandatory 5-hour shifts. Now we're down to 4-hour shifts most of the time. Sometimes we flex up to 4.5 or 5-hour shift. But it is physical. Like there are days where I get 20,000 steps in 4 hours. It's just a lot of steps, and I don't want to run after that. I just don't. I also have plantar fasciitis, which means that now I have a bad knee, and because I have a bad knee, and I have a bad hip because I'm in my 30s, and that's what happens when you're in your 30s, is like your body just falls apart. So I have not run. I was supposed to run today, but I did pick up a shift at Amazon, and I've just really been trying to like get the cinema sweater done. I wanted to get to 72 hours today, which I did. However, I already showered, so I'm not going to go on a run now. I'm not going to shower and then run and then shower again. I even washed my hair, so it's drying. which is, I don't know if you can tell that it's drying, but you can probably tell that it was wet when I started recording. But yeah, so haven't run in January at all. I did go to the gym a couple times. I did my little stair workout 3 or 4 times. Cycling helps my hips. So a couple days after Amazon, whenever I wasn't working at my full-time job, I would go straight from Amazon to the gym, and I would just do like 20 minutes of cycling and then maybe like 10 minutes of stairs, just to like get some movement and help with my hip. And then the stairs just for like ass blasting cardio. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Stairs are hard. So that's what I do whenever I do go to the gym. I try to run. I normally don't. I try to lift. I normally don't. I was on Ozempic for a while, and that, like, really, like, you don't eat a lot, so you don't have the energy. So I felt it wasn't safe for me to be eating like 1,000 calories a day and then trying to lift my body weight. Just sounds stupid. So I was like, I shouldn't do that. So I didn't do that, and I never just got back into lifting. Now I go to Planet Fitness, so I can't really lift the way that I would lift at the Y. So there's that. That's my fitness update for the month. No update. Hopefully January or February will be better. For books that I read this month, so I have 2 books that I read and 2 audiobooks that I listened to, because I am not one of those people who says that I read an audiobook, because I didn't read anything. I listened to somebody else read to me, which is fine. It's perfectly enjoyable. I love audiobooks, but I didn't read it. But my 2 audiobooks that I listened to were Listen to the Lie and People We Meet on Vacation, and I really enjoyed both of them. Listen for the Lie had like a plot twist, and I did guess it. I guessed the plot twist like 2 hours before it was revealed. And then People Meet on Vacation was just like a cute little story, so I really enjoyed both of those. And then 2 books that I actually physically read. I lied. I had 3 audiobooks and 1 book that I read. I also listened to The Four Winds, which is a Kristen Hanna novel, about like the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. And that was really good as well. Turns out I'm a huge sucker for Kristen Hanna. I'm a member of my LGBTQ ERG at work, and our ERG and the other ERGs did a book club where we read The Women, which is also a Kristen Hanna novel. I listened to it on audiobook because I don't know where my library card is, and I don't have time to go to the library, and I don't honestly really have time to read because I'm so busy knitting, and I can't knit and read at the same time. So I just read whenever I am on my break at Amazon, or like doing this certain task at my real job, my career, where I don't feel comfortable knitting at that point, and it's just like waiting 10 minutes. So I will just read a couple pages of my book. But I forgot where I was going with this. Yeah, so I listened to The Women. Oh, that's where I was talking about. I listened to The Women, and it was really good, and it reminded me that I have The Nightingale, by Kristen Hanna. My grandmother bought it for me for Christmas a couple years ago, and I never read it, so it's actually on my to-read list for February. It's already in my car, so when I go to Amazon tonight, I'll read it on my break. And there was another Kristen Hanna book, The Great Alone, I think it was called. I listened to that audiobook as well, and then I listened to The Four Winds. So 3 Kristen Hanna novels that I've listened to, 1 I'm actually going to read. And then the book that I actually read, the physical book of this month, is Remarkably Bright Creatures, which was one of my best friend's favorite books of the year, and I really enjoyed it. It was really touching in times, and there was a plot twist, and I guessed it halfway through the book. I texted my friend, and I was like, don't tell me if I'm right or not, but I think blah, 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 blah. And she's like, maybe, maybe not. And I was like, oh, I know I'm right. So I was right. I'm really good at guessing plot twists because I read and watch a lot of movies and TV shows and stuff with like plot twists. But so yeah, those are the books that I have consumed in January. I did start a new audiobook, The Housemaid, which is apparently a movie now. And I am going to start The Nightingale tonight. So those will be my reads for the month, and hopefully some more. And I think that's it. So we did our knitting, crochet stuff. You guys met my cats. And then we talked about my other hobbies. So that is going to be it for this video. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for... I thought I was going to crash down on. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're working on during this cat sneezing. Let me know what you're working on during this podcast, if you're working on anything, or if you are reading anything, or if you're in a fitness journey as well. Let me know how that's going. So yeah, that'll be it for this video, and I will see you soon for my next one.